Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy, Decayed Andy, and I'm joined here this week by one of the great demons. I now finally have power over him because I have discovered his true name. It's Mikey Stopheles. Hello, Mikey.
These are becoming more work for you, aren't they?
Yes, they're always more work. That's why I always used to go to what's on my desk. But I thought Mikey Stopheles was a fun-sounding name.
Yeah, don't... Hey, you want to make a deal and I'll erase your marriage?
Okay.
It's done.
Yay! I think we need to get like one of our friends to name one of their future children Mikey Stopheles. And like so when they're doing the birthing ceremony... I know you don't
like children, Andy, but that seems a bit mean.
But then, you know, when they're having a christening, you know how the father goes, "For that is the Holy Spirit," and they do the little cross on the forehead. Instead, they do a little pentagram with the water on the forehead. That's what I do as a priest every now and again. You just be like, "Yeah,
child
this one could be a Satan
fire."
Kid." That would be frowned upon, wouldn't it? If you were doing that as a priest and you just went, "I'll just do a pentagram for a laugh." Ha 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 ha. Nah, they won't see. They won't notice. We're here to talk about Transformers this week, Mikey. It's still pretty light.
Yeah, it's floaty light, even.
Yes, a few stories. Not a huge amount, but a few little bits here and there. We're going to start off with New Age Toys doing the XM-2 Duel, which is a masterpiece scale, because... Dark of the Moon Megatron. This was something that Mikey mentioned last week, but wasn't on TFW. But it's on TFW now, so we're covering it now. So there you go. We got some stats on this guy. Apparently, this is following on from the Dark of the Moon Soundwave, which I completely forgot New Age had done. If we had we covered that? Does that ring a bell?
No, honestly.
No,
but it's
maybe
it's No.
Everything blends.
No, it's not. It's a movie toy. No.
Yeah.
No.
The stats are, the robot height is 31 centimeters tall, so it's probably scaled with that Dark of the Moon one that they did previously. Based on your feedback and suggestions, we made the robot head bigger and lowered the shoulders. Okay, I guess they took feedback from a while ago. The joints are flexible and have been improved. Oh, sorry, the joint flexibility has been improved. Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so did someone complain about it? Because
maybe it was just something they noted down from the last time that they had it, potentially. Maybe. Or maybe it was one of those things like, do you remember like years ago where Vangelis got some Predacons from a third-party company? I can't remember which third-party company, but he got them early, but they were like prototypes still.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember which ones, because again, so many Predacons over the years, especially third-party ones, but maybe it was something similar to that. Its accessories include a cloak, a chain, or chains, plural, a rifle, and a green elf, which is Igor. Not something I would call an elf.
Not an elf, no. He was a disembodied long haul head.
Yeah, not an elf. Maybe, I guess that's just what they're going with, elf, which is, okay, fair enough.
Okay.
The rifle and elf can be stored on the oil tanker mode. The robot mode mouth can open. He can scream if you want. The tires are made of rubber, so they will disintegrate in however many years. The paint will be worn out styled, because it's Dark on the Moon, so it should be. Customers who pre-ordered XM-2, that's this one, will get an upgrade kit for XM-1, which I don't think it's mentioned.
No, did they tell you what's in? No mention of what's in it?
No, not that I can see. You just get an upgrade kit, so that's good. I guess. If you pre-order, that is. So, we have images of the CAD model in robot mode from front and back, and the oil hauler truck thing. I don't know, whatever that was meant to be, in a few different angles. How do you think it is, Mikey? Because I think generally people have a fondness for this version of movie Megatron, mainly because he shot an elephant in the face with a gun, and that was funny.
No, he didn't. He should have, but he didn't because they cut it out because they were afraid of angering PETA.
Oh, that's what it was, yeah. But we all knew he did.
Yeah, but I don't know, like, this guy has had, like, he's had such love, and I think people like the concept a lot more than the execution. But I think people also are far enough away they remember the concept more than the execution, you know?
Well, yeah, because I like to hope that people... Can you imagine if people did, like, a yearly binge? Like, every year they're like, time to go through the Transformer movies.
There are people who do that.
Oh, God! Like, I get Lord of the Rings. Like, that makes sense, because they're, like, good films, but...
I mean, people like these movies, Andy. One of the highest earning franchises of all time.
Yeah, we all make mistakes when we're young. Yeah, I saw the first movie twice. Oh, no, 3 times. And I never did that. I never did it again. Never did it after that. I got banned.
But yeah, I think it looks like a simplified but decent rendition.
Yeah.
But I think like that's as far as I'll go because I really don't like the design. I've never liked this design. I like the idea of what it represented, but like, oh, it's like evil Optimus, but he's also like battered and bruised and everything else. But he's just kind of nothing really. He's just basically a tidier version of the previous 2 designs.
Okay, so I'm interested to see what the cloak does. Is that going to be material, or will it be hard plastic? Probably hard. It'll probably be hard plastic.
Material.
It's probably hard plastic.
Just at this price?
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be cheaper to do material.
I think they'd probably want to do what they usually do with Gundam kits for the the
Oh
crossbones.
No, not those bloody paper things.
No. I was going to say for the plastic ones where it's like they want to have a sculpted version so it looks dynamic, rather than some of the Gundam kits, which, like you say, is just either a bin bag plastic, which looks terrible, or the paper material, which is also
where the instruction is crumple this as much as possible, then put it on.
Yes. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? And you can never quite get the material. Well, I never know what kind of material you meant to get yourself to try and replicate that.
Oh God, yeah, no, like you gotta
basically if you want that good material.
Yeah, you want that, you gotta go to like another high end figure.
Well, I mean, you could try and make it yourself if you're decent at sewing. And again, like I say, you know the right material for the job, and I'm sure there is a decent
Andy,
kind.
you are none of those things.
I know, but luckily this is not an issue for me. This isn't my problem. I don't care.
Not my problem.
Any other thoughts on this, Mikey? Obviously, it's not coloured. It's not real. It's just a CGI model at the moment, but yeah.
No, it's okay. It looks like an interesting model, but, I think this is like one of those things you see Jobby review, just like, wow, what engineering.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair point, yeah. Yeah, if there's going to be anyone I'm going to not listen to specifically, but if there's any way that I'm going to have any interest in this in the future, it's probably going to have to rely on Jobby doing a good video on him. I think you're right there.
As a character piece or an aesthetic piece, I'm just kind of like, cool, no.
I think the thing I'm most excited for, and I'm not really, quote in quotations excited for it, is probably the tidal wave.
Yeah.
Like I say, I'm not like excited for it, but I'm most interested in seeing it.
Yeah.
Do you want to take us on, Mikey? Next thing?
Yeah, so, from Bingo Toys, they revealed in-hand pictures of their upcoming third-party Windblade, which is their Bingo Toys 02. So this is a highly stylized Windblade, upping the Japanese, upping the sharp edges, upping the boobs.
And it does actually transform as well, which I was shocked by.
Wow. Turns into kind of a more weirdly kind of like if you cross Starscream with Windblade. For a jet.
Do you mean like just normal Starscream? And do you mean Tetrajet Starscream?
Kind of normal.
Okay, I could kind of see that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm also like, notice we do not see it from underneath. So we get a lot of shots of her on a stand. She's going to come with at least 2 swords, assuming the billions of blades in her back aren't also swords, but they do look. I think I see like hilts and things. So I think
it might be right. Yeah.
She's going to come with multiple faces. So she's going to come with a neutral face, a sort of like open mouth face, and a like grrr, angry turtle face. I like the angry turtle face. And of course, she is posed thrusting her crotch as far forward as possible with the open mouth face because
that was the oh god. I mentioned that. I just saw that. I was like, wow. Like that is a an old school Reveltech pose, except she's kneeling down.
Overall, I think that looks cool. I like the aesthetic. I like the fact she's leaning more on the Obi wing look. Which is all the changes that went over with Flame Toys Windblade. I wish they kept the wings. She's got a much more exaggerated headdress. The alt mode is very much okay, but boy howdy do I expect it to basically be a robot woman underneath a plane.
It kind of looks like it, yeah.
Now, what's your thoughts?
I like. Specifically, the thing I don't like visually about it is how glossy it looks. I kind of would prefer it to be a bit more matte, at least in places. It's just too glossy and shiny. But that might be just like the photography that's really highlighting that a bit more aggressively than it would be like just holding it in your hands or whatnot.
Yeah, maybe.
The idea of the sword kind of wing thing, that's kind of nice. Wind blade. Blades that are wings, yeah, there's logical sense. I think the actual look of the swords are not like as interesting because they're meant to be a bit more uniform and smaller.
Yeah, they're more short swords than what we're used to for.
Yeah, and I think like that's the nature of like you want to have like multiple swords. They kind of you can't have the energy beam parts too big, otherwise they're going to look really wonky off in the side of a wing. So they've clearly kind of minimized them, but. Generally, yeah, it looks like a pretty interesting figure. I hope it comes out well.
Yeah.
Does she have like changeable hands or like because there's one pose like
yeah,
where one of her hands is really, really, really weird. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, the hands look to me like they do change. Like, yeah, no, she's definitely got multiple hands because I see open hand, fist, holding things hands, and weird hand as well.
Yeah, it's like the weird hand for the people who don't know is like if you do the OK symbol for your hand, but then get your thumb and like straighten it out.
Yeah.
But keep the index finger curved. It's that. I don't know why. I don't see how that is a pose anyone has ever done ever. It's an odd one. Maybe she comes with a teacup or something, and it's for her drinking.
Oh my god, please, yes. She just needs a little teacup. No, we need a Nemesis version where she has a teacup.
But no, it's a lot better in real model than the CAD model that we were talking about, last week or the week before, whenever it was.
Oh god, would have been a week ago, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But no, it looks a lot better as a real product. I'm like, yeah, it's all right. It's not bad.
Yeah, in that case, Andy, take us on.
Yeah, just a quick little story that Mike tells me is from a CAD model from G2. I don't know what that word is.
I'm just checking up the creators there because they're calling themselves the Madness and Neurowing.
Okay. What this is, it seems to be printable stuff out for your Generation 2 Megatron. Did you look at the head for that figure and went, wow, that's just a War for Cybertron Megatron head? Because I sure did. This one is a lot more accurate to how he looked from the comics, from Marvel Comics, I think it was. So it's a lot more angular, it's a lot more expressive, let's say. And you also get the option of his guns as well, his crazy machine guns. So he can become much more G2-y, as he should be. And he can also have his fusion cannon on his shoulder rather than just on his forearm. So I think it does change the look of the figure, and probably is what the figure really should have been, since you were paying an excess charge on the figure, being Generation Select. I think they could have made an extra head or something for it. And I think this does a bit more. What do you think, Mikey?
No, it's cool. It's neat. It is. So yeah, it is. It's just like a stylized, like half Japanese label. It's between two people, Madness and Neurowing, who are over on Twitter as Madness and Neurowing. And Neurowing has up a lot of the concept thing. It's basically just called G2 Megatron Upgrade. So guns, new head. It looks like there's going to be another head option where he's covered in bullets. Oh,
that's cool. Yeah, I like that.
Which I think is a cover.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go with yes.
I think
we'll
it's
go
a cover.
with yes.
But no, I think it add the face. I think is an important thing. Like it
very
adds
much
so much more personality to it and everything else. The 3D printing aspect is, not something I'm in love with personally.
Agreed. Yeah.
Just because, one, I don't have one, which means I'd have to pay someone to do it for me. Two, I'm a lot more comfortable painting nowadays, but still, like, getting it to the level you want it at, where it's, I would rather buy a completed head, and plus you have to, you still have to clean up 3D printing a lot.
Yeah.
So I hope they go full production, like, or, small scale production, but like proper production plastic on this. Because I saw they were going to be selling the CAD files, but available at Cults 3D.
Oh, okay.
But I would really hope someone does it in production grade plastic.
I'm not sure that'll happen, but it would be nice if it did. Be fun if someone did the actual G2 Megatron head as well, or and then if you wanted, you could do minor changes and make it what was it, Mega Boss?
Oh God, what was his name?
It was Mega something because he became
Megastorm,
then into Gigastorm. That's right, yeah. Because all you got to do is just basically give him black eyeliner, and that's that figure done. But yeah, I think this is very important to actually make this character look like he should, or at least more in tune as he should be, at least in my eyes. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else to say there. I don't think it was one of those figures I wanted to get, but I never got around to getting. Did you get it in the end?
No, it was again like I liked it, but it was also kind of like just not what I wanted. Like I wanted a new like proper version of it, not like, hey, it's a repaint of an existing figure that I didn't love to begin with. Yeah.
That feels like a lot of the Transformers at the moment. It's a lot of repaints. I actually mentioned this on a stream like at some point this week. It feels like Transformers is doing even more repaints than it's ever done before. They're just releasing them in different ways. They're releasing them like publicly. Like the Legacy line is getting a load of them again from Beast Wars, and they're also charging you excess if you want them for the Generation Select stuff. So there's two avenues for repaints to keep coming out, which
and it doesn't help that so many figures now are like using where we've got Legacy Optimus, who's actually like a modified version of Generations Optimus, who's or Earthrise Optimus, who's a modified version of Siege Optimus, and blah 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 blah. And that's before you get into the pricing for like a Voyager in leader packaging, or the wonders of, hey, here's the same toy released in a different line again.
Yeah,
you didn't want it the first time.
Well, here it is again, bitch. No, I would agree with that. It's an interesting thing. It's not a thing that I love. No.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a thing that I understand is a thing that's just happening at the moment, and you just gotta suck it up, I suppose. Or things will change eventually. Hopefully. That'd be nice. Mikey.
Yes.
Talk about the red, which is hopefully a line that's gone better in terms of quality.
Yeah, still haven't had a chance to pick up Knockout, but I am still planning to at some point. He is out.
Okay. Does he explode? I think he said he didn't explode, right?
From what I understand, he doesn't explode, but I don't know if if he's like just more stable, or if they've actually made him better. But I need to basically handle him. I must hold him in my hand.
Touch him, kiss him, smooch him.
He'd love it. He'd be telling me he's pretty. In part of Transformers Tuesday, I believe this was all revealed in, which is something I really giggle at occasionally. As part of quite a large press reveal for stuff like things we've already seen, like Night Prowler, Buzzsaw, Sandstorm. We got revealed 2 brand new red figures, and they are Transformers Red Galvatron and Transformers Red Shockwave, both Generation 1. This led to a lot of podcasts I was listening to suddenly going like, but I can get transforming figures, what's the point? And I'm just like, there are many points. It's just, you need to accept that it doesn't play your game. So, Galvatron is going to come with, obviously he is referencing the movie pretty heavily. He's coming with 2 blast effects, 3 pairs of hands, one sort of punching hands, one open holding things hands for things he can't hold. Sort of clutching the air hands, going I will raise an army! And he will also come with a matrix on a necklace. And a little standee representing the effect from when he is being turned into Galvatron when he was Megatron. Shockwave is going to come with, I believe, a bit less. He comes with a couple of blast effects, 3 blast effects, actually. 3 pairs of right hands, 1 holding and 1 fist in silver and in purple, and a Megatron gun. Will not come with a animation error accurate left hand. Or that doesn't come with the saluting hand either, which I find kind of interesting, because that's usually the first thing they throw out. So, I think the base molds still look good. I think that is something like Red is definitely getting down its base designs. And obviously this is hitting a level of accuracy you're never going to get in Transforming Toy. Like, it's just not physically possible. I really wish that standee with Galvatron was about twice the size.
It needs to be a lot bigger. It's a lovely idea. Yeah. It's fun. Yeah,
but it doesn't work at that scale.
No, because it's smaller than him.
Yeah. They both look good. I'll be honest. They both look solid. But like I'm looking at some of the pictures here, and some of the promo pictures are not filling me with a huge amount of excitement. Like, for instance, Shockwave holding Megatron's gun. Megatron's gun barrel and stock are bent. Which is really
I love the shot where he's firing from both his hand cannon and the Megatron gun, and I'm guessing it's the weight of the plastic beam effect that's bending the Megatron, right?
I hope so. But then again, it's like bent in another shot as well, but that shot could be taken after. But it's bent in every shot.
The thing is, like, if it is bending because of the weight of that plastic beam effect, that's not a heavy plastic beam effect.
No, it's not. I don't like that the stock is bent because of the shape of his arm. I mean, like, if you're going to design this, design it to fit the figure. Don't design it so that you have to warp the plastic.
Yeah. I think that's an issue sometimes when companies make guns with stocks, like toys that have gun stocks. Like, some figures just can't wield them because of how the articulation for them works.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun idea, but it's just like, come on, guys. Come on. But no, I think as a base Shockwave, as long as the parts are good, he looks solid. And same with Galvatron, as long as he holds up and is good quality make, it's fine. It's just like Red has a rep, it's gotta work its way through.
Which is, again, still really weird because they have the G.I. Joe line, so there's no real excuse why the quality should be so wibbly-wobbly on this kind of stuff.
It is so weird. I mean, how many action figure lines does Hasbro have?
That's the thing. Over the years as well. You know who they should do, Mikey? DevCon. Everyone's favorite DevCon.
You said that, and someone just leapt out of their chair going like, yeah! DevCon! Woo!
He's a fan favorite, Mikey. He's a fan favorite. That's what you told me once. And I was in disbelief as well. I was like, what? No. Who would you like to see then from the Red Line? Because we've been playing pretty safe recently.
We have. Knockout and RC were the biggest, like, left fielders. I would like to see some Cyberverse designs would be good. But
no, we need actual Transformers for that line, Mikey.
You go to hell. You go to hell and you die.
Yeah, am I wrong?
No, but just give me something. Give me anything.
Please give it to me.
Give it to me. Lock it into my veins. I'm trying to think who would be kind of like who would be plausible. Would be a good one to think of.
Hilarion.
That would be nice. Do you know what? I'd like to see some animated cast members, like Lugnut or something like that.
Why do I say Hilarion? Because we don't need to worry about getting the design right to be a transforming toy. It can just be the design from the comic.
She's just a squidgy little spaceship lady.
Exactly. There. Done. Boom. You're welcome.
But animated always had the slight problem of trying to get the show accurate look with the alt mode, so do some animated figures.
You could do Sumdak, and then you could do a Halloween version where he's covered in blood.
Yeah, make sure he comes with a hand.
Yes, it needs to strangle. You can have replaceable faces as well to have him have more and more dead-eyed looks.
Yeah, Sumdak, I want to see season 4. I mean, for many reasons, but I want to see season 4 largely because, I want to see the episode where Sumdak snapped Finally, it just got to him, and they just came home and like, oh my god, there's so many murders in the town today, Dad. Were there really?
Is he sorry? What a shame. Come on to the table. I must fix you.
Get into my fart. I don't know why he's German now, but get into my fart. My fast action rapid transport system. Such fun awaits.
Oh my god. Yeah, you could do like The Fly. You know, the movie The Fly, you could do that, but with like Sumdak. Brundle Sumdak. As he fuses with Waspinator.
Oh my god. I was drinking coffee.
Right, that'd be fun.
Oh god.
Wouldn't that be a fun, terrifying idea?
I mean, it would be horrifying.
I think you could probably hammer it out to be more kid-friendly, potentially. I don't know how. That's not worse. That's not my problem. That's not my problem. Well, there you go. Shall I take us on, Mikey? Well, I'm not going to disagree with you. Shall I take us on, Mikey?
Take us on.
Well, we got a reveal this week, Mr. Mikey, as the Transformers Legacy Leader Blitzwing. We got some first-hand looks at it, and because people are people on the internet, someone got it and touched it and did a video on it, and now we can see how it do and what it do. I am going to have to take the fact that this is transformed correctly as much as possible, and it doesn't feel like it is in some images.
It's in one mode in particular, in my opinion.
I would agree. But this is Blitzwing, obviously, as mentioned. He is the triple change, if you didn't know, transforms from Robo to Tank to Jet. Sort of jet. I always thought it was a cool jet, but it was always a sort of jet.
Sort of jet.
How do we think he's turned out? Because obviously now, Mikey, all those other Blitzwing toys you've got, they can go in the bin, as is the usual stepping call for these things.
I would say jet mode turned out better in a different toy, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, so this is really weird. I was convinced we had a Blitzwing from Generations, from the War for Cybertron. I was absolutely 100% convinced. So I was like, why can't I find that toy?
Yeah,
why can't I find images of it? This is kind of highlighting to me they need to, weirdly after everything we've been saying, they need to re-release Astro Train with a new paint job.
Which one?
The one here.
Oh, the leader one that's the size of the Voyager.
Yeah, if they're like this guy's still short. Like he's shorter than Galvatron.
Yeah.
But I think the robot mode looks good.
Oh yeah, solid, very good.
Very solid, posable. I saw people complaining about the fake wings.
Why?
Because people are, quote, getting tired of fake parts, and I'm just kind of like, well, as long as you want them to look like a cartoon model, you have to have fake parts because that is not physically possible.
Yeah, I would also say, like, if we're complaining about issues with current toys, faking things is not one of the issues that I would personally bring up. I would bring up hollowness of toys. I'd bring up the size of toys, the general feel of the quality of the toys. The fact that we're still using the same characters over and over again and not doing anything new with them. I don't know. Something a little bit more than, we faked a chest, or we faked the wings. It's like, no, that's fine. If it makes the figure more fun, go for it. I don't mind that.
But yeah, no, I think the robot mode looks pretty good. I really wish the turret retracted.
Yeah, you just like, you could push it down a little bit. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also like I'm surprised by how tall the G2 Optimus is. The laser convoy Optimus. He's taller than I was expecting. But yeah, so I think the robot mode looks solid, looks posable. I like the sword. It looks painted in all the right ways, which is nice.
Hang on, what are the wrong ways?
Like, hey, we're gonna put paint on all the shoulders and the face is going to be bare plastic. Or
no, I meant on the sword. I thought you said on the sword.
No, I said the sword looked fine.
Okay, I thought you said like they put the paint on the sword in all the right places.
No.
When you said that, I was like, the blade.
You're a crazy person. I really got to talk about this.
Okay.
As something that is definitely making the toy more appealing to me. What the hell is going on with those fists?
What's wrong with his fists, Mikey?
That they hold giant see-through hands, which are also rocket launchers.
Is this the we need to bump this up to a leader price point?
Maybe. I mean, I love them, But, like, these feel like they're for a combiner.
Yeah. Oh, they feel like... Do you remember what they did with Shockwave? It feels like a really naffy version of that.
As he stares at me from behind. Hello,
Shockers.
Yeah,
I know.
I like it, but I'm definitely blinking a lot. I saw the review and he's going like, oh, leader price point, and like, hey, we've got a panel that swings up to fill the gaps, and we're just like, boy howdy, I hope it doesn't cost an extra 20 or 30 euros to fill that gap. I did ask during the week if people felt the new leaders were worth the money, and like not just like the trailers, but like Galvatron. I got mixed results. I'm interested. Some people just said, I didn't get reasons. I just said just got yeses and nos.
Okay.
But you know, I think maybe it just depends on what you're looking at for out of these figures. But
I guess it could be, as we've talked about before, like be the honeymoon period as well, because maybe some people are still on the honeymoons for some of them.
Mayhaps. But no, I think his robot mode looks solid. Tank mode looks decent.
Almost.
Really, almost. The little literal cockpit. Really wish that folded away. And the thing is, like, usually that's been on a couple of Blitzwings, but usually it either folds away more or it just is shorter, because the way you're supposed to be driving Blitzwing is the other way around but they're not, you know, usually it's just two vents on his front, and now they've turned them into full-blown thrusters.
Yeah.
So,
like, I get it, because it's part of the animation model, but we've seen this done better. Like you say, it sticks out way too much, at least for my liking. And it does look like the purple panel just over the top of it should just pull out a little bit more and go down over the top of it, but it doesn't. I don't think.
It's a weird thing. It just changes it changes where your eye falls on the tank mode a lot. So
it does.
The tank suddenly looks less like a tank and more like a turtle with a turret on the back. Like, it looks like because you're now looking at this big sticky outy bit that makes you think, okay, that's where the person's going in, so this is a weapon on the back, rather than thinking there's a person inside the turret going.
I just can't help but thinking it just looks unfinished. It doesn't look finished, like they haven't transformed it completely.
Again, we have to assume the guy did it right, but it doesn't look quite right. Jet mode, I really don't like. Titan's Return did it better. Titan's Return had an excellent jet mode, in fact.
It did.
Really like that jet mode on that figure. I really like that figure, to be honest.
Same. You even like the Megatron version, which I didn't like.
No, I did. But I had both of them for a good long while. The jet is just kind of accurate, and then suddenly it's just like, and we had extra kibble from the other two modes.
This is a perfect jet mode, as long as you ignore all of the tank parts.
It's a perfect jet mode as long as you ignore all the parts of it that are imperfect, yes.
Yes, exactly. What's your point?
Which is where I go 60, 65 euros.
You mean that's how much you would pay, or that's how much it is?
That's how much it is.
Oh.
So... And okay, your figure's shorter. There's extra plastic. I don't know why. Like, however you're explaining the extra budget, but some of that budget could have gone into tidying this up.
Surely.
And it's very hard for me to believe that by doubling the price for the size of the figure, you weren't able to work in that extra engineering, at least on some level. Again, it looked better before. And you can say, like, well, they weren't trying to be show accurate then, but like, okay, but
they were trying to be pretty show accurate. Obviously not 100%, but
so why can't you do something here?
That's the thing, isn't it? Because Titan's Return isn't that old.
No, it's only a few years. It just makes me feel like I feel like there's money being made or being wasted here to me, and people are going to go on at me or like whatever, but it's like, the biggest thing everyone always says to me is like, oh, the leader class at this size and everything else, you know, frees you up for accessories or engineering. If we lost some engineering budget by having a couple of big giant funny fists,
I know, right?
You should have lost the funny fists and kept and done this engineering, because that is more important to this figure.
I'd like to... Do we have any images? We don't have any images of Blitzwing next to Titan's Return Blitzwing, do we? We should have, but we didn't. Right?
No, but I saw some like composites.
And how did they look side by side?
Robot modes were quite different. Tank mode
that makes sense.
Tank mode, the new one is almost better.
Almost better.
Almost better.
Okay.
The jet mode, the Titan's Return Blitzwing's jet mode is much, much better. Like, I'm sorry, you really can't argue with me that it's not better engineered, because it is. I also think, like, for a triple changer, that mold manages to avoid, like, one mode being completely sacrificed.
Yeah, it's one of the few, that's for sure.
Yeah, whereas here it feels like a mode is completely sacrificed, but this is 35 euros more expensive. So
yeah,
I do expect price, more. Especially when you're telling me, like, size isn't like, class is no longer related to size, then it needs to be related to quality, and it needs to be related to engineering or accessories or something. And I feel like I would say money is being wasted here.
Is that a thing that fans say now, that the classes don't relate to the size of the figure? Because that sounds like a copium to me.
That is the primary dialogue these days.
Is that unfair to say?
I mean,
that it's copium.
I think it probably could be, but I also think, like, it's none of my business how you want to spend your money, but it's also like how you spend your money is affecting how I spend my money.
And so fuck you, I don't have any money.
Yeah, like, that's the problem for me. It's like, hey, cool, slight problem. I'm now paying more for less, in my opinion. So I think that there needs to be more here, and to me, that jet mode is really disappointing at that price range.
I could see that. I don't think that's wrong. It's a shame. But it's a shame, because the robot mode does look really good. Really good. Oh, yeah, I do like the robot mode a lot. I don't care about the giant funny hands. Like you said, that budget should have been put to anything else. Anything else. And don't say it's for kids, because this is not for children. Children, I don't think kids are buying toys a lot these days.
Well, I mean, I can tell you, like, we know that we make up something like a third of the market, like somewhere between 10% and a third of the market nowadays, somewhere between it.
Nowadays?
Nowadays, yeah. These are figures from last year. Like, children are still, parents are still buying their children toys, but, like, the market is shrinking. But we are still not that's the thing. Like, when people say, like, we're the majority thing these days, we're still not. We are still we're unfortunately an important novelty, but we are a novelty still. Like, we still, like, if we disappear tomorrow, Hasbro's toy sales will tank in a major way, but not in the same way as, like, hey, children are no longer buying toys. Like, they would just collapse completely. Which is one, I think it's weird to me in some ways that they now make such a sharp delineation between toys for media versus toy for non-media periods.
Yeah.
Because there's such a difference between, say, movie toy now or TV show toys now versus Generations lines or something like that. And we're still not buying the majority of Generations toys. So we're still, like I said, we are very on the radar, but we're not the radar. So I don't know. I also think, like, if you don't talk to the fandom about this, because we have an overinflated sense of our own importance. But it's just weird to me. It's so weird to me that you would make this thing, and to me, you're just creating spaces where I'm going, like, wow, why am I paying extra for this in the middle of inflation as well as everything else?
Yeah.
And, like, it's not as egregious as the trailer to me, because the trailer just feels like a full-on waste of money to me at that price. Or the Rodimus thing, where it's just like, okay, a $30 to $40 figure, and once I'm paying for it, I'm paying $120. No way in God, Jesus, hell. And everyone telling me, like, it's so worth the money. Maybe to you it's worth the $80 you paid for it. I ain't paying $80. I have to pay a lot more.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, that's just all something I'm thinking about when I think about what I can get for the same money from other toy lines.
That's always the issue, isn't it? Always the issue.
Like, I don't know. I'm rambling a bit, but it's just like that jet mode really throws me off when they've done it better for cheaper.
To be fair, I can take us on to a story that kind of relates to what you're talking about.
Please.
All right, so Transformers Buzzworthy, Bumblebee, Rise of the Beast, and the Evergreen Multipacks, and Legacy Titan Class DCPI numbers and pricing. Now, why are we covering this? Specifically because of the pricing of things. So these are figures stored on a computer with pricing and whatnot for future toy lines and whatnot. So, Transformers MV7 Smash Changers are going to be the Oscar, whatever Oscar is. And then it's got a load of numbers. It's going to be $31.49. This is all in dollars, by the way. Buzzworthy Bumblebee Hurricane will be $15.99. Evergreen Deluxe 3-pack will be $62.99. The Legacy Multi-pack will be $73.99. And the Titan figure, which people are... The Legacy Titan figure, which I think we can all safely assume is going to be Megalo Convoy, which is the last one that I heard about, is apparently going to have a bit of a bump up in price and will be $189.99, nearly $200. How much was the last one that came out? I can't remember.
Arc
the
is
Arc.
up on Smith's at the moment for €120 or $131.
Okay, so that's a
remember,
big bump in price.
For us, we are inflated as well, so it would have probably been $120.
Give or take, something like that. So if that's the case, that is a big bump.
For that particular character, who I suspect, in terms of engineering, Arc has him beat.
If they're sticking to how he looked in Galaxy Force, because he didn't really do too much as a Transformer. Like, I never had that figure, but he didn't. He kind of sat down in a lot of ways. What he does
is he curls up into a kind of like square, and then he has they call it a mode, but it's basically a half transform state. Which again they say is a mode. It's not a mode. You just stuck in. It's like, hey, Primus has a ship mode. Does it? Does it really? And then he just extends. Like you start extending him, you stop halfway, and then you continue extending him. And it says he's a triple changer then.
The real deal here is, as you were saying, like the value for money. When we're getting up to nearly $200, we're getting into the realms of like electronics and stuff at some point, aren't we? We're not too far off that. In terms of games, you can buy about 3 games, I think, give or take with that, right? And that'll last you, depending on the game, that'll last you a lot longer than one Transformer figure in terms of time that you spend with it. That's shit. But what do you think of the pricing specifically on the Titan Master or the Titan Mikey?
The other ones, it's pretty difficult to judge just because we don't know what it is really. Yeah, we don't know. I'm sure you could do a Titan figure that 190 is reasonable. Sure. Just like, you could do a masterpiece that's 200 is reasonable or 450 isn't.
Well, we've seen like third-party figures, and you kind of get why they're that much, and you get why the cost that they are and all that jazz, but you feel like you're getting your money's worth.
When you think about who is coming and what he'll probably end up doing, it's real difficult for me to say that, like, unless he is, like, made of the densest fucking plastic.
Yeah.
like, oh my god, don't drop this on the child, it'll just push him through the ground.
I'm thinking more like, oh no, my child's in the road, don't worry, I've got Megalo Convoy, a car's coming, I'll throw Megalo Convoy at the car, and the car explodes, saving your child. Megalo Convoy's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, like, part of it's not their fault, if I'm being completely fair. We are in a shitty time for money in general. A bottle of Coke is now more expensive than it was 2 weeks ago, kind of thing. But yeah, they have been taking the piss with prices taking the piss in a way that you can't account for with inflation with some prices for a while now. Like really driving it home with Studio Series, which was the same fucking thing as the Generations, except it cost $10 more per line or whatever it was. Yeah,
and you got background with, like a cardboard background with it, didn't you?
And then they just did away with all the new imagery or like the smoke screen around it, and they said like, hey, we've got these Kingdom figures, let's release them in Studio Series. And just like, oh, here's RC again. Oh, also all the prices are going up to match Studio Series. Oh. You've been talking bullshit for a while. I don't know. I feel like Hasbro's not going in a good direction with pricing at the moment. So I still like there's Titan figures I'd like. I'd like the Ark. I'd like Trypticon, but they've had some pretty uninspired ones.
Yeah, I would say
and
so.
Hey, look at it this way: €200 I won't be spending.
No, yeah, that's not terrible.
Because that's what it will come over as. By the way, it will be €200.
Oh, at least, if not more. Let's be honest.
So that will be an extra $30 on top minimum.
Do you not think they'd go 210, 220?
Depends. They could
because
easily.
we've seen them say "fuck you, Mikey" before, or "fuck you, Island" specifically.
Yeah, no, it's me. They're after me.
Need to be more positive, Mikey. That's what it needs.
Fuck
to
you!
be.
That's the sound they make.
Yeah,
they listen in. Jack Hasbro's been listening in for some time.
Jack
Hasbro returns.
I'll also take this one. This one's a bit more of a fun, weird one. We got new Transformer BotBots Ruckus Rally Series 6. I was shocked that BotBots are still going on, but it's also got a cartoon series, which we haven't talked about because
I watched an episode. I'll talk about it later.
Oh, okay. Oh, fair enough. There's multiple new crews. There's people who broccoli, fried eggs, bacon, waffles, rare corn dogs, all that kind of junk. The thing that I'm more impressed by is that the Ruckus Rally Racer Roni and the Outer Controller multi-packs are more of an interesting thing. One of these things, so you get a slice of pizza.
How have these not been done before?
I mean, they're getting done now, so, you know.
It's so weird to me.
Yeah. You get a slice of pizza that turns into some kind of two-person rally car with a crust gun, I guess, and a controller that also turns into some kind of weird little battleship for them. It's a great idea. Give them a fun little dumb playset that can sort of transform, almost like Masters of Action or something. No?
Go to sleep.
One of them has a Crimseek face, which is kind of weird.
I was looking through them. This is... Okay, BotBot got weird. This got weird.
Yeah. Did the quality get better on BotBots? Because I remember when BotBots first came out, and they were... People were talking about how they were quite rough and, like, super tight.
Yeah, I've got one or two, and the plastic's a bit... I don't know if it got better, because I didn't keep track of it, but I'm just like... I love the idea of BotBots. I love the aesthetics of BotBots. It's just like you said, like some of the execution. But my god, what the fuck is going on with you people's brains this time round? So you got stuff like, hey, it looks like poop, but it's supposed to be ice cream or something, or sauce coming out of a sauce man. But hey, here's a hamster that turns into... the cat that turns into the woman from Courage the Cowardly Dog by splitting down the fucking middle.
Yeah, that's weird.
Here's a gun that turns into Crimseek.
I like the duck. The duck's quite fun.
Yeah, like, what else is there? There's that looks like a brain that turns into guy. There's the Autobot symbol that turns into a dude. There's a dog that looks like it works like the cat. There's a grasshopper. There's a cobra.
Some of these are a lot better than others, and some of them are a lot worse than others. It's very varied.
The woman feels like she's from the cat feels like she's from a different toy line.
It looks like something that actually came out of the 90s that like Kinder Egg or something did, rather than being, like you say, BotBots.
Because it's just a plastic cat you split down the middle and a woman pops out and she's like...
And it doesn't have the aesthetic of the BotBots. It's just literally, like Mikey said, an old lady.
Yeah, it's just an old lady pops out of her cat and just like, I have several questions.
Well, you know, I guess when you love the cat, at some point you become the cat.
But like, there's no... It's not like you move the bits around. It's just like, here's a female BotBot, that's a cat. No, it's literally just a cat that you split down the middle, and a lady is inside. That's wearing the cat as a backpack. Mm-hmm. Like the rat does it better because at least the rat stands up, but it's still really shit.
Yeah.
I think the Cobra's the best one of the animal ones because it's
I don't like the Cobra one.
But you have at least it follows the logic.
It does. No, I like the duck one the most because it's just like it's a duck and then the robot kind of stands up and the duck head becomes like it becomes the beast, like, you know how Cheeto and Rat Trap have the animal head right on their chest? It's the same idea with that one. That's why I like that. It doesn't have arms, it has little flippers. I don't know, I like the duck one.
I will accept it if it comes out in white with a cap.
Oh my god. No, I don't think they could pull off the Subaru, which is a shame.
Shuba Shuba.
Shuba Shuba. Shuba Shuba.
Then we can get
BotBots.
Then we get Shuba. And then we sort of like, oh, here's a bear with some stitches. And then we're all just building up to Miko Dene.
Hey.
And Small Ame. Like
There's the crossover we want. But yeah, I'm shocked that BotBots are still going, to be honest. Even though I know, like we say, it's got the show and everything, I think kind of surprised it's been going. It feels like it's been the silent... Maybe it's because we've just never talked about it, which killer. It's probably a thing, we just don't talk about it. But it's weird that it almost feels like a silent runner. Like it's been going along all this time, and I just haven't known about it at all. It's weird. Anyway, Mikey, do you want to take us on to some news about future things that may happen this year?
Future things! So, we have a premiere date, or at least a premiere month, for Transformers Earthspark. And it was really hard to read this because they have lots of @ and hashtags in it. It looks like they copied it from Twitter, and that meant I didn't actually realize where it said the date was, and I was very confused for like 2 minutes because you can't stick all this in regular language. It doesn't read right. But anyway, Earthspark is going to be debuting in November. So Earthspark is the new show that Nick Roach is one of the design team on. We've had a short trailer. It's going to be the first show to have major human characters since 2016, 17? Because RID had 2, and then RID had 3 seasons. And then you had Prime Wars, War for Cybertron, and Cyberverse, none of which have major human characters. So this is the first time in a while. I rewatched the trailer again. The thing that strikes me about the trailer is that there's no transformation in it, or at least there's no transformation animated in it. What they do, they have a bit where the bike comes up and turns into the robot. The bike starts spinning, and it basically, at one key frame, they just transition to the robot doing the same move.
Oh.
There's no interstitial model, like, that's supposed to represent the actual transforming action.
Right.
So, which makes me think the budget ain't going to be super high.
That's concerning already to me.
I mean, clever way of doing it. Like, if it is a budget thing, clever way of going like, okay, we can't afford this, but so we're going to work this in. And
it hopefully just made me worry because you and I have both talked about the issues, let's say, that Nickelodeon has sometimes with its shows. So.
Where they make a show like this, and before it's even aired, they've already started loading the nuke and going like, and now you'll die.
Fuck you, Turtles. So how did Turtles manage to get away with as many seasons as it did?
Well, they did. They tried to kill it in the end. They drove it into a terrible airing line because they wanted to do Rise of the TMNT, and then the creator of the TMNT wanted to do some other stuff, and they killed that too. But they gave in and gave him a movie to wrap things up.
Hang on, what was the other stuff that they wanted to do?
Don't know. I know that they were like, we had other creative ideas.
I thought you knew. I thought you the way that you phrased it, I thought you had like a sneaky suspicion of what was going on.
No.
Oh, okay.
But so they're getting a movie coming out soonish, I think. But so I am very concerned they will murder this. I'm slightly concerned this will be terrible. I'm more concerned it will be good, because then they will definitely murder it.
But it'd be nice if we got something like good for Transformers, because it's been years.
No, it hasn't. We had Cyberverse. I was very happy with Cyberverse, but then no one else liked it.
I enjoyed it kind of at about season 3.
Did you see season 4 yet?
No. I haven't gone back to it for a while because I say I was guess when the Starscream Quintesson stuff finished, I just found it to be really dragging, and I just haven't got back to it since then.
Season 4 is a lot more like that part of season 3.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, it's just weird that that's how they technically were wrapping up season 3.
But I ended up so happy with that show. But I'm also like, I don't trust anything anyone does. So I'm like,
you keep telling that to me every day, Mikey.
Andy, stop talking to me. Why? I don't trust you.
I don't trust you.
Can you trust anyone who is a stranger? We're all strangers.
Oh my god, it's true. Yeah, even you're a stranger to yourself if you've got dissociative personality disorders.
Who's that guy in the mirror? He doesn't technically exist. He's light reflecting.
Oh my god. What are we but particles in the wind?
You are your whole color scheme doesn't exist. How can you trust something when you know it doesn't exist?
Just think, the way that a mantis shrimp looks at you, you are not the right color.
Yep.
Because it has many more ways to look at you. The way that you appear is not the way that you might actually be. It's just
and that the mantis shrimp would kill you without regret.
Potentially, yeah. I don't think it would just come for you, because we haven't had many mantis shrimp killings. But don't put your hand or your leg next to a mantis shrimp.
You haven't had any mantis shrimp killings in the papers that you know of.
That's true. Are you saying, Mikey? Are you saying that the Titanic wasn't sunk by an iceberg? It was one mantis shrimp.
Would you? I mean, knowing what we know about mantis shrimps,
it could be a thing.
It's not
there were
a big
issues
stretch.
with Titanic in general, and then the mantis shrimp comes along and goes, "Hey, fuck you." The ship just goes.
Oh my god, it's an iceberg, and it's just what you didn't see was sitting at that one point of the iceberg, waiting for the iceberg got through every hull but the last one, and then just sitting at the very tip of the iceberg. Will it.
I was seeing it more as they avoided the iceberg, but the mantis shrimp was just on the closest peak, and just as it was passing by, it was just flick, and then the hole appeared.
Yeah, the Titanic.
Oh, you thought you
shot
got by?
To the left.
You thought you got by? Nah, I got you.
They flicked it, and the Titanic just flipped upside down.
If people don't know, learn about the mantis shrimp. It's a fascinating creature.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's weird though. Very strange. Anyway, Mikey, take us on. Was there anything else to say about...
No, that is that. So we also had the Hasbro Ignite 2022.
Oh my god, what's that?
I had no idea when I saw this. So this is the first ever Ignite Innovation Showcase 2022 for retailers and investors to highlight what's upcoming in the years 2022 and 2023. Oh. So at this, we're Jenny Whitlock, Vice President of Global Franchise Strategy and Management. Talking about Rise of the Beast and including a slide of the movie against an Aztec? No, that's a golden disc.
What's the difference, really?
One's
exactly.
Going
no
into
difference.
No, but one goes into space. That's a golden disc with animals on it, which maybe is supposed to look a bit like Aztec-y, but I think it is in South America, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm not
also,
sure. Don't ask me things.
There's more things in South America than the Aztecs. There's many things. The statement here, partnering with E1 and a visionary new director. That's always worrying. To bring a life to a Transformers story you've never seen. Fallen Kingdom had a visionary new director. He just didn't give a shit. Which he has come out and said he really wasn't into the project, but doing his horror shots.
Hang on, horror shots? Which were the horror shots?
Fallen Kingdom, he's a horror director, and a lot of the Indoraptor shots are framed in the same style as a horror movie.
Oh, Fallen Kingdom. Sorry, I thought you meant Fall of Cybertron.
No. I was thinking...
I got confused there. That makes more sense.
Yeah. So, film will pick up after the events of 2018's Bumblebee. Is that right? I don't care. And follows Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and an unlikely team of humans who, having seen the cast, they sound way too much like a Bayverse one, who are joined by new powerful alleles. They're joined by DNA fragments. New allies, Transformers Beasts. The Transformers Beast. The introduction of Beast characters will be a significant moment for all. From kids to core fans, and especially those who grew up with Beast Wars in the 90s, Rise of the Beast raises the stakes, and sets up for what's to come over the next few years of our film franchise. That's why we delayed it a year on short notice that our toy line couldn't delay at the same time, because we have that much faith in it.
No.
Next up, talking about the toy line for Earthspark, presents many firsts for Transformers that we're bringing to life for kids, leaning into insights. We've identified core pillars of play that allow us to take conversion to a transformation. Just say transformation. I know it's a marketing thing, but just say it. To another level and connect with kids to deliver on the magic they want to be. For some reason, that's in brackets. Brought to life in toys. Surprise conversion, classic conversion, and magic conversion will create... Oh no, I just realized those are toy lines. Or gimmicks. I bet they're gimmicks. They're capitaled and they sound like they're gimmicks because those are weird. We'll create a true show-to-shelf moment for the line and an innovative new way to convert Earthspark's greatest hero. So it's a gimmick line.
Yay!
Okay. So Andy, are you excited by this Ignite event?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty. Like, if you were gonna ask me to bet on it, I would bet that I would not be excited about this.
But Andy, it says Ignite at the start.
It does. It does sound warm and almost inviting.
And they're releasing a movie a year after the toy line.
They are. We've mentioned this before and how it's totally not an issue, and it won't ever cause a problem.
I really hope they have some toys set aside for that, like 2023, that they're just gonna say like, okay, cool. Now we're doing the Generations figures, and we're totally marketing them as the main toy line.
That's how it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've no further thoughts. Thank you, Jenny Whitlock, for your contribution. Last bit of, I'll just throw this in as well. TFCon and TF Nation about announced some guests. TFCon, July 8th to 10th in Toronto, is going to have Doug Parker, who voiced Pterosaur and Starscream in Beast Wars. He was also Tidal Wave in Armada.
Was he?
And
no way.
He was Mirage as well, like Mirage and Energon.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have paid that because he's got such a deep voice in those two shows compared to, Pterosaur.
Pterosaur's voice always killed me when I was ever tried to impersonate because he did this like weird squawk when he terrorized, and Pterosaur terrorize. Like I can't, my voice can't do that. I just can't. Voice actors are miracle workers. And Gary Chalk has been announced to be attending TF Nation this year, assuming everything goes ahead. And, of course, if you need me to explain who Gary Chalk is, what the hell is wrong with you?
Do you want me to answer that? We don't have enough time for me
in the
to
context of Transformers.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
So, yeah, that is basically the news.
Wow, alright, well then, Mikey,
Wow.
what you been up to this week? What you done for fun, son?
What you done for fun? A lot of work still, although that should be easing off relatively soon.
Yay! Finally.
So, finally, it's happening to me. So, watched a bit of stuff. Some of it was actually Transformers related, which is a miracle.
Oh my
god. So Boji, Ranking of Kings, Osama Ranking, whatever name you want to go with, wrapped up. Surprisingly,
I thought that was it, yeah.
I thought they had 2 more episodes. They had 1. It was an odd ending, and I'm going to preface this in the context of how good this show is. This was week ending.
Kind of, but it feels like it was almost done so if they don't get another season, it can be like its own thing and it's done.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that. Like, it's setting up like stuff with Oaken and Desha and Despa for the next season.
Yeah.
And Kingbo, I'm assuming, as well. But it's also like, okay, so he's going off to do his own thing, and that's fine. I liked how it was done, and I thought Hilling was great in it, and she takes way too much blame upon herself.
I don't know. She's some problems.
She did her best, damn it. She did her best.
She did her best, but she did, parenting issues,
No parent perfect?
No, it's true.
Except me.
I'm
an uncle. That's basically like the perfect parent.
Oh yeah, because you don't need to do any of the worst stuff. You just get to do the fun stuff.
I give her back. So I enjoyed it, but I was kind of like, I wanted more from this. But I also like, this is part 1 of a story that's still doing its second part at the moment. So
is it definitely getting a second season?
I don't know if it's getting a second season, but I know the core story is on part 2.
Okay.
So, and I don't know what goes on in it at all because none of it's translated before anyone asks me.
Well, that's actually really good then.
Yeah, so I'm really hoping, like, because this did stupidly well.
In terms of what? In terms of numbers?
Numbers were insane globally.
Really? Ooh, that's great. I'm really happy to hear that. Great. Yep. It should be.
So I'd be surprised if it didn't get a season 2. I hope
better.
I rarely say this, but I hope they hold out and take their time and let the story hit a reasonable endpoint or hit the next part point or whatever. Because please don't make this. Please don't try to Inuyasha this. or the old style of doing it, where just like we'll try and do this while it's airing, like Boruto.
God, no. Yeah, no. We need it to be re-zeroing, basically. I think.
And we don't want ReZero or Konosuba to take as long as they do, but at least we know,
especially Konosuba.
Yeah. At least
they're
we know when,
really dicking about.
Yeah, they hate me. But at least we know when they do hit it, we'll hit like a really we have plenty of story to work out with. We know exactly where we want to end it. We know exactly where we want to start it. Yeah. So I am very happy with the show overall. I thought it was an excellent series. My God, number of people saying the best anime ever made. They're like, it's reinvented anime, and just like, no, it has not reinvented anime.
Yeah,
it has not even revolutionized anime in any way, shape, or form. It is just a very well crafted, very well animated series by writers and actors and animators and a studio that gave a shit. And
it's one of those series where you go, it's one of the big hitters. I would say, it's not like you say industry defining or anything like that, but it's a strong one like ReZero and everything like that. It's
absolutely
really good.
And it's working in a genre that anime is not paying attention to at the moment, which is like raw fantasy.
What do you mean? We've got all these isekais, Mikey.
Yeah, well, to be fair, so many isekais these days are just like, yeah, he got revived or she got revived into another world. And we'll never make it story relevant.
Doesn't matter.
It might as well have just been a dude in this world a whole time.
No, it's got to be isekai though.
Nah, it's fine.
Isekai.
So, just like a very traditional European fantasy. I'm very curious to see where it ends. Obviously, I want to know what's going on with the demon. I want to go.
Much left.
I think Desh is fucked, to be honest. But
same. Yeah.
No, it was good. It was really good to see like things from Boji's perspective in this. Like he was just overwhelmed by it all a lot of the time. And I want to see Boji's kingdom, and I want Hilling to come back and be like the world's best mom, and I want to see what happens to Daiji, and like I've got lots of things I want to see again.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
So, that was that. Because it was the other anime getting a lot of talk this season, because the season's wrapping up, and next, in 2 weeks, it's Shield Hero.
I know what you're going to talk about, because I saw your messages on this, and it's quite controversial compared to many people's opinions.
Well, I'm not a teenager trying to pretend that's me. So, I like the odd rom-com, I like the odd comedy, I like the odd comedy that's a little bit risque.
Lame.
Been known to happen. Monster Musume is leaving Crunchyroll, and I'm like thinking about staging a protest. But
where's season 2, Mikey?
Yeah, where's season 2? Because I know that's got plenty of story left.
Oh my god, it's got loads.
Dickheads. But so I decided, because it is like the other big talked about anime from this season, so I checked out My Dress Up Darling. I do not know how to say the Japanese name. So basic story, your protagonist is Gojo. He is a young fella who likes making dolls and sewing, and was bullied about it when he was a child. And when he was very young, he showed it to his best friend, who was a girl, and she basically called him a freak and ran out, and he became a social recluse and had no friends. Chance meeting with the sort of Japanese gal lady, Garu type, blonde hair, loads of energy, really energetic. She falls on his desk, doesn't really care, ends up finding out about his dolls. She reveals that she's into cosplay, but she's not really good at sewing or anything else, and she basically sort of like convinces him to help her sew outfits, and the story goes on from there. It's about how she develops her cosplay interest and how he develops his feelings for her and her for him, and they meet other cosplayers. It's very into the cosplay circuit. From what I understand, because I did a little reading afterwards, it is okay, there's some actual, who's ever making this knows a bit about the cosplay circuit in Japan. The semi-professional one. So, yeah. I've seen this story a million times.
Oh my god.
Is the worst thing I can say about it. The thing it has, a really fun female protagonist. Kitagawa, her name is. And she's funny and well voice acted and a good laugh. And, yeah, no, she's really energetic and fun. This basic story, I think, is kind of an interesting idea as well, focusing on that culture which we all know about, but we don't ever really learn about, is interesting. The big problems for Gojo. Gojo is a void of personality. He's got nothing beyond, I'm shy and think I don't deserve to have affection.
That's really unique for an anime protagonist. Not a lot have that. Usually they're there's loads of attributes where you can't just paste yourself on top of them. It makes them really unique and interesting.
Yeah.
So to do something
They've all got...
so paper blank is really, really interesting to see. For
strange to tell a story where this really blank person that you could pretend to be is going out with the kind of woman you'd like to meet.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
Who's
they should do more
energetic and attractive and nerdy. Well, they don't exist. All attractive women are horrible, normal people. None of them have anything secret or interesting about them. All they care about is bottles of wine.
Wow, that's based. It's based, Mikey.
It's really weird for me to say this, considering every attractive woman I know is a complete lunatic nerd, awful person who just keeps telling me to buy them shit and just buy me things. I don't want to. Go away.
Well, to be fair, you didn't strengthen your case when they said they'd try and make me buy them shits.
It's just why are you in my house? It's just you know more about anime than I do. Why are you in my house? I want to know which DVDs to buy. It's go away! You can buy them for me. It's my birthday soon. Get out! That is, if I told you how many times I've had that conversation with a certain PC.
Oh my god.
We're just hey, you know about all this nerd shit. Why are you acting like you don't? Why? Half the sci-fi stuff I watched in the last 10 years, you've made me watch.
Terrible. Disgusting.
Yeah, and he is just a blank fucking slate. Fruit from V Shoujo actually said the same thing. I thought, no, she speaks truth. She speaks much truth in this. He's completely blank. You're supposed to insert yourself on him and pretend it's you. That is what he exists for.
Are people impressed by it because it's such a? Well, it looks like a really well animated show. So are people just wowed by that?
I don't know, but I did see replies to Fruit things, which were people telling her to shut the fuck up because she doesn't know anything about character depth.
Shut up, woman! You don't know about things.
Which is just he's damaged. Obviously, you're too shallow to realize what it means to be like that. I'm just methinks someone sees too much of themselves in the whale they hunt.
That's funny. That's funny.
Methinks you have found
What
your
a
Moby
comment.
Dick. But
oh boy.
The thing for me, I've seen this kind of comedy done before with shy retiring guy, in your face girl, and I've seen it done better with a more engaging male protagonist. I've seen it done a few times, but done better. What was that one from a couple of years ago? Something senpai. It was about don't bully me, Nagatoro.
Nagatoro. Okay.
Yeah, because I like him because he doesn't have trauma. He's just, I'm an artist type who doesn't get involved, and he has a character of his own, and he does develop throughout the thing, and she's in your face and fun, and it's a laugh.
I like Nagatoro. It was a fun one. It was funny.
Gojo doesn't have that. Gojo is Gojo has an episode where he's as far as I've seen, where he goes I don't think we should hang out because people will think we're friends, and I don't want people to think we're friends because it'd be bad for you. And he talks like that the whole time.
Oh my god, don't be such a wuss. Who cares?
And she's just yeah, that's what she said. That's literally what she said.
Oh,
I was but I picked my friends. You fucking
exactly.
Weirdo.
Yeah.
In which case, if I was her, I would be I did. Now I'm picking to avoid you because you're being a dick.
No, you're not being a dick. You're being a loser. Come on now.
Well, he's telling her to be how she should socialize. I count that as being a dick. Ooh. But, he's a loser dick. Yeah, there we go. Compromise. Yeah, it's just these characters have been done better. This character has been done better elsewhere. Weirdly enough, it reminds me of, the character was very different. It was, I can't remember the name of it, but it was Garu girl, guy, nerdy guy, but he was obsessed with having sex, and the only reason he got together with her was to have sex, and her character was written really funny and nice, and oh wow, this is a really fun character, and he's just this prick the entire time, but he's the prick you're supposed to pace yourself over.
Are you sure you weren't just watching a porn? It sounds like you were just watching a porn.
No, it was relatively chaste.
Okay.
But because she wasn't into that, which I remember being the narrative. But it's just that self-insert moment of just this could be you. It's just maybe it could be. But boy howdy, is this not the healthy way to go about it. So yeah, I wasn't overly impressed. I still think Ori Monogatari, My Love Story, is the best rom-com anime because it has a Go Nagai protagonist as the main male lead. And he's amazing. I need to rewatch that, actually. I love that show. But so there was that. Digimon's still on a hiatus. We're doing repeats in Japan. Kamen Rider Veil came out, but it hasn't been subbed, or episode 1 of Veil. 15 minutes by the looks of it.
They're really short ones, okay.
It looks like it's laid out the same way the Snipe miniseries was.
Right.
So, which the Snipe miniseries was very, very good. But it was like 15 minutes per episode, and it came with a box set. This is like, look, which, you know, you had to watch the whole thing to get the whole effect.
I was going to say, it might be worth just waiting until the whole thing is out then, if that's the case. Because, 15 minutes, you're not going to... I wouldn't get fully involved with it if that was the case, because it's just too short.
Yeah. But yeah, I watched Revice, episode 28, and I'm pretty comfortable saying the last 2 episodes have been the worst arc of the show.
You mean a waste of time?
Kind of, yeah. And so basic story is this is about Icky. Finally, we're undoing the Icky Vice fusion.
Yeah, finally.
And introducing
it just happens as well.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get into that. Introducing Revice Thundergale, who narratively is a sensible place to take the story. Because it's essentially the opposite of Holy Live.
Okay.
Because like Holy Live is sacrifice one to make the other stronger. Thundergale is we are stronger together. Yeah. And there is in the 2 episodes, there's definitely story important things. There's Olteka is huge in these in terms of his arc, which I think they hit the right point to do what they did. I think that arc had gone as far as it needed to go, and I thought, okay, we need to move on from this, and cool. Aguilera gets some good stuff in this. Sakura gets some good stuff in this. There's a little bit with George at the end with his dad I thought was good. There's key things in here that are good, and that, to me, say the writer wanted to write this.
Yeah, and then it's just bogged down by 90% of the episode, which is, let's get Lightning Gale in there and show off how fucking cool and sick it is.
Yeah, except it's like, it was like, some bit, like, I feel this more than you do, but some build episodes are like this for me, where it's like, oh god, this talented writer is just getting so frustrated with having to do a toy. He's just like, fine, fuck, it's here, good, bye.
No, I would agree in the earliest stage of the show, definitely.
And it's like, I don't want to write this, I want to write my story. And his story is good, and it was good. And then, 10 to 15 minutes of this is a weird thing where I think it's supposed to represent the, like, Icky and Vice are, like, never going to turn on each other, except it's a psychedelic scene followed by a psychedelic scene that makes no goddamn sense, followed by a pretty interesting conversation with, I'm assuming, a fake Veil. It's not actually Veil. It's not like he transported into Icky's head.
Did you assume that was like the Gifu genes inside of his body or something? Yeah,
so maybe it was Veil, actually, when I think about it.
Maybe.
But I will say, like, the actor there did a good job of playing 2 different characters. Do
you mean Icky?
No.
No.
And then it turns into a weird fight with, like, Vice with Icky's face.
I hated that. I didn't like that fight.
I hated that so much. And then the fight doesn't end. Icky just starts talking and Vice stops, and then it's like, you've helped me and I'm going to protect you, and he slices him with a sword, and I thought he'd killed him.
Yeah, I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what... like you said, I didn't know why Vice was attacking him, if he could just stop, which Icky was able to make him do by just saying, hey, you protected me from my trauma. It's like, okay, the idea of that's not a bad idea. I like
hey, buddy,
that.
I'm your friend, guy.
Yeah. And then, like you say, he gets an imaginary sword, because it's inside his brain. And then he cuts him. I assumed at that point Vice was dead, because it seemed to be going the same route as Kagero and Daichi as well.
I thought it was like, Vice is going to disappear for a while, and it's going to be... Revice is like, all Vice's powers, but... Because that's framed like he's killing him.
It is 100%. But then he's just like, hey, I'm back. It's hey Vice. It's like, oh, you're not dead then? No,
I'm here too. Yeah,
I'm not even joking. There's the scene at the end of the fight where Vice just appears and everyone goes, oh, hey, Vice.
Pops up
like,
and just like,
what?
Woo! Just like no one goes like, oh, no one even goes like, oh, you're separate again.
Yeah, no, or says, oh, it's good to see you two, or it's nice to see you two separate, or hey, Vice, you're not dead, or anything like that. Vice just says, here I am, and the scene continues. It's bizarre. It's a weirdly set scene.
Yeah, and the setup for it, which is like, well, if we use this stamp, it could kill them both, or it could free them both. And
I hated that speech from George.
Neither Daiji and Sakura go like, this seems like a bad idea, but that scene is so badly directed.
It's not only badly directed, it's badly written, delivered. It's just like, it's heavy exposition from George.
Yeah,
and you're just sitting there going, what is this scene? What is happening?
And there's like so much shouting. And I realized that last episode as well, everyone's shouting.
Yeah.
I know the director's different from these two episodes.
Oh.
I checked. It is a different director. He did fine for the action stuff, I will say.
That's fine.
Like with the thing, like one, everyone's shouting, so like nature. Too long. That went on too long. But like George's thing got me because there's like George is yelling in Japanese and English while the camera's zooming in at him. We cut to Daiji, cut back to George, camera's away from him, zoom in at him, cut to Daiji, cut back to George, camera zooms in at him, and it's just like, what the fuck are you doing?
They were desperately trying to make the heavy exposition dump visually interesting, is what my assumption was. They were trying to do some, because they couldn't do anything. Like, it's, okay, we have to give this exposition to explain what the fuck this new stamp is, why it just comes out now, why it looks so lame, and all that jazz, and what it'll do, and we can't do anything but just sit the camera on them. Okay, just cut back and forth, zoom in, zoom out. There you go, done. Jobs are good.
And like that, those parts felt like the writer didn't care. Just like, fine, exposition, fuck, there you go. And then you've got the Anomalocaris Dead Man, which, why is it always Anomalocaris? But it's just the Daioku one with some extra parts, and it didn't look good.
No.
Again, it felt like, okay, I have to wrap this up in this. This isn't how I maybe would have done it anyway, but like, fine, fuck it. And then Revice, Thundergale, works better in motion for a certain value.
Bit. It's still a little bit messy, and it feels a little bit cheap because I just go, oh, so this is the upgrade for 0-1, whichever one that was. It's just that.
Yeah. It's just, I was thinking the same thing. And I did like the transformation, like, from Jack Revice. Like, it's an interesting visual trick. And I also realized, like, okay, it's just the body's Jack Revice's, and then they have different armor on it. I didn't realize that. George being demons, I feel, needs some follow-up, because how with Veil gone?
Again, that just felt like it just felt like, fuck it, just do it. We need someone to help them. I don't know why they had to have George do it, because I think I didn't know that John's hair tail thing was a whip that could tie people.
I like that.
I didn't mind that. That was fine. But if that was the case, you didn't need George to be demons. Him being demons feels like someone picking up the Kaiser belt from Fies. It's just, I guess any motherfucker can throw this belt on.
Do you know what it felt like to me? I think it needs explanation, because like, it doesn't have Veil in it anymore.
No.
What the hell? How does it work?
How does it even work?
Is he just like much weaker than normal, or what's the story? But like, it feels to me almost like that should have been Hiromi. Like, that is structured to be like Hiromi's comeback. Like,
potentially.
But I know, like, part of the reason the actor left is because he had another, like, a stage show commitment or something like that.
Right.
Which I don't know. Maybe it's like, we were planning to have him back, but he wasn't able to come back yet. But it's a weird episode. It's just such a I want to get past this episode. It doesn't like dampen my enthusiasm for the show, because I think most of the show is not going to be like this. But man, it's just like, I felt Toei and the writer at odds in this one. Weirdly enough, the next episode looks like it's going to be a bit of a wacky comedy one, but I'm fine with that. I'm fine with wacky comedy shit as long as it's not painful.
I don't know. I thought to myself, like, these last few episodes, and then I thought, okay, so we're not having a big story pushing episode next either. We're going to have another kind of a kooky, silly one, because it feels like when we got not too long ago, you know, we had the comedian episode one. So we had the comedian episodes, we had these two bad episodes, and now we've got another two wacky episodes. It's like, so when can we get back to the interesting stuff?
Yeah, like the way it seems to have worked for me is that the writer wanted to do the story for Holy Life. He wanted to do it with Kagura and everything else. And he wanted to do wrap up for Olteka's story, which has a fantastic shot in it where Olteka's standing up and he's in focus, but always in the background is Gift's statue.
Yeah, I like that.
That was a wonderful shot. I love that shot. Those are like, okay, we wanted to wrap up the dead man's arc of this part of the story. But he didn't want to do Thundergale. He didn't want to do any of that shit, and it was just forced on him. And he was just like, "Fine, I'm doing it, but I'm putting my efforts in elsewhere."
Yeah, I'm happy to say currently at the moment where we are with Revised is a medium kind of going show. It's been held down quite a lot at the moment. I'm hoping it starts picking up soon, but we're in the 20s now.
Well, the way I wouldn't say medium. I still think it's a good show, but I would say it's had two very, like, it's not just two bad episodes, two very prominent writer doesn't give a shit episodes.
I don't know, because we had a long stint of like the Daiji stuff with Kagero, which was good, but then led to nothing.
Yeah, but it's still the same two episodes though. Like, it's just those two episodes. I think those two episodes are so recent they leave a big impression, because it's not like Kagero.
No, I mean,
like, do you mean like the fact that Kagero didn't do anything in general?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
because
yeah. Well,
we had a lot of build up for Kagero for a long time. We had him breaking up the family vacation and all that jazz, and then effectively he turned into background character. It feels like a lot of ideas that just get either cut short or put on the back burner. And there's too many people we're not focusing on because the cast is maybe a little bit on the too big side at this point. Too many writers.
But the Kagero thing doesn't bother me so much because I realize that the writer wants the show to be about Ikki and Sakura.
Sure, but I think that's an issue though, because it does it detracts from his story or the episodes that are focused on him. Because if it doesn't pan out to being anything interesting, which it kind of hasn't with Holy Life,
he just feels pushed by Toei.
Sure, but what I'm getting at is because we had those episodes, we had quite a few episodes pushed towards Daichi and Kagero. It's effectively led to nothing, making those episodes kind of irrelevant. So we wasted more time, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it that way, but I do definitely see how you can see that way, you know?
Okay.
I do like at the end it does end like, okay, now each of them has a clear goal.
Yeah, that was okay, yeah.
So again, that feels like, okay, writer wanted this scene in. But like that, these two, I've never, as much as I said Bill did it, like I've never seen one where it felt like so at odds between the two parts of the show. Yeah. Or of a writer show like this. And
maybe it'll be like Build and it'll stick the landing really well.
Oh, yeah.
But we don't have the strong villain that was carrying Build through a lot of it.
Olteka was kind of our big one, and he was good, but he wasn't like that
good.
He
just felt kind of generic-y in a lot of ways.
Yeah, they need to do more with Vale. Would be your best bet, because I don't think GIF is going to be deep. He could be. I'll just be like, he seems to be built up to be monster progenitor type.
Yes, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Unless Aguilera turns out to be the main villain, which I wouldn't put it past him, but you'd have to do more with her as well.
A lot more. Yeah.
Yeah. I will take these villains over the ones we've had in a lot of shows, though.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
I was just, every time I think of like, I mean, they're not at the tier villain we'd like, but then I think like Time Jackers.
Oh, is that from Geo? Okay, I didn't watch Geo because you just said it was shit. So I never bothered.
Or the bad guys from Saber.
I didn't watch Saber because you said it was shit as well, so I just didn't bother.
Or the bad guys from Ghost.
I mean, that's fair, yeah. I didn't finish Ghost, but I saw enough of Ghost and I went, no.
No, thank you.
No.
Okay, the rest of the stuff I did was Transformers related.
Oh my god.
So, I watched episode 1 of BotBots.
Oh my god.
So yeah, it's for what it is, what it's trying to be, it's pretty solid.
What is it trying to be?
Wacky comedy. But like, not like wacky oh hey, we told a fart joke comedy, just like wacky situational comedy.
So like Teen Titans Go?
No,
Okay.
more on the line of an early 2000s. Visual style is more along the lines of something like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, but it's not aiming that way. The writing's smarter than that, to be blunt.
Okay.
The writing team like includes people from like Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and stuff like that. I think the showrunner's actually from there, but and some prime writers and things like that. But so it's all up on Netflix. First season's up on Netflix. I'm not watching more than one because it's not for me. I said it was good for what it was, not that it made me like, oh my god, I need to watch another episode. But it was fun. It was like goofy, fairly clever gags, basically. Basic premise is Energon Storm hits a mall in the opening, and then all the things come to life. There's one rule: don't let the humans see you. Your main guy is BurgerBot, who's your main guy because he has an Optimus Prime head, and he finds the lost bots who are not associated with any group, and he's trying to help them get back and meet the other groups. And then he accidentally reveals them to the security guard called Dave, and then because of that, he gets kicked out of the Food Fighters, I think they're called, or the Food Crew or whatever. And so he joins the Lost Bots, and it's all about him. From what I can tell, it's going to be about him like trying to work his way back in, then realizing, oh, I've got friends. I don't need to be part of anyone's crew. But yeah, I watched one episode. It was fine. It was fun. It was like fairly clever for what it was trying to be. Voice acting was solid. It's just not my type of show.
That's fair. Yeah.
But it's nice to see something like that, and then so go like, oh, cool. But yeah, the other thing I did was, and I'm saying it here because I am not doing another show on this. I am fully caught up on IDW 2.
Oh no! Oh, you don't want to talk about it on From the Files of Teletron 2 in detail?
I will not be doing individual episode issue reviews or anything like that. So,
oh my god!
So I'm up to current, so issue 41. And I've read Transformers Escape, which is a miniseries, and I've read the Transformers Annual.
Can I guess that the reason you don't want to talk about it on From the Files of Teletron 2 is because you're so like loving it so much that you don't want to spoil it for yourself, and you want to keep the discussion inside yourself.
Yes, that's exactly why.
I knew it first time.
That's exactly why. So yeah, I would argue anyone who says it reads better in trade is lying to you.
Oh no.
The pacing issues to me are still just as prominent. The poor focus. Like at the end, where we are now, we have 3 major threats, including the Decepticons. No, 4 major threats, including the Decepticons. And none of them feel urgent within the main book. They've introduced like, the planet might be dying. And also this has freed like giant monster worms that eat people. Also Insecticons. Also zombie Cybertronian who possesses 3 people. Also Decepticons. None of these feel super urgent. The scale of the thing doesn't seem bigger since the Decepticons are apparently winning, but it doesn't feel any bigger than it did at the start once the Rise and the Ascenticons were an issue.
Yeah, okay.
They bring in Combiner, and based on the Devastator story, which you remember was actually like good. You know, a Combiner showing up is a bad thing. They bring in Computron, he goes down against like 4 Decepticons.
4?
4. One of which is 8-Face.
Oh, hang on. Why'd you say it like that? Oh, one of them's 8-Face, and 8-Face is known for being utter shit. Like, if you said, like Swindle, or you said, like, I don't know, Sea Spray, I would have been like, okay.
So, it's Striker's team of elite heavy, she calls them, which is 8-Face.
That makes sense, he's a big boy.
His whole thing is that he's got an inferiority complex to Blitzwing.
When I say he's a big boy, I think of the G1 cartoon version where he's a big boy.
Yeah. So it's Blitzwing, 8-Face, Obsidian, and someone else. Some
other loser.
And Computron goes down like a sack of spuds.
Oh. And
the only reason they don't kill him is because there's an injured Titan nearby who's like, no, you don't do that. And they've got, I think, 2 or 3 issues left for the wrap up, and as far as I can tell, the way this is going to wrap up is some of the threats will be taken care of. Like, I know, like, War's End is where the Exarchon stuff is being dealt with. And it looks like it's hinting out they're going to deal with the Insecticons and the Rustworms idea at once. And they're going to wrap those up. And then the Autobots are going to leave, and they're going to be like, "We'll come back to you one day, Cybertron," and they won't because the series is over. I like the art. Ana Alcova's art is a big improvement over Angel Hernandez or Angel Hernandez, but at the same time, she has a lot of proportional issues and stuff like that. She does get noticeably better. She's much, much, much better at staging action. In the second half of the book, she does a really cool shot with Skylinks and Skywarp, where like Skywarp's like bragging and Skylinks comes up behind him and literally tries to eat him whole.
Oh no!
And like you get Skywarp like bleeding everywhere over Skylinks' mouth as like he gets about to be blasted with fire, and then he teleports away just as the fire blast comes out. But it's like it's really well drawn, like staged. I don't love the art style. I don't know why I keep saying animation, but it's staged very well.
Okay.
But character is a huge problem with this book, as is language. I'm going to talk more about language in a second. There's a lot, in my opinion, that is not working with this story, and I'm not going to miss it. I wish I was. I really do. But I'm not going to miss it. Which is a shame, in my opinion, because I read Transformers Escape, and that made me think, wow, Brian's a really good writer when you give him a limit. Because Transformers Escape, 8 out of 10.
Do you think then this is an editor issue, that the editor should have been more on their ass?
I think the editor should have been more on his ass, definitely. But I think with this much freedom, Brian was very comfortable introducing ideas very, very slowly with this slow drip world building. And the problem was he did it too much, which meant that he never picked up the pace.
Okay.
And so he's coming up with 3 or 4 issues left, and he's got to wrap up a huge amount of stuff, and he's not going to do it satisfactorily. It's not his. I'd like to say it's not his fault, but he structured it. It is his fault. Transformers Escape is a 5-issue mini set alongside, which sets up stuff that is the Insecticon arc, which is super, super important, and the main book barely explains.
Oh no!
So they just have like, oh, we've got to deal with the Rustworms and Exarchon, and don't forget the Insecticons, and there's a little hashtag saying like, see, Transformers Escape, and just like. This is a really big fucking apocalyptic thing you're saying, please see here, but because it's also like, where the fuck did Shockwave go? I was thinking that for ages, and I'm just like, oh, there's Shockwave.
Oh. Like,
Shockwave disappears from this book.
Wow, okay.
Skywarp is probably the most fun he's ever been, I will say. But Escape is basically the Insecticons come back from their adventures in Transformers Galaxies, and they want to eat. And they've discovered if you eat living things, they taste a hell of a lot better than Cybertronians do, organic things rather. And there happens to be quite a large minority population of organics on Cybertron. You can imagine what they've been doing while the war's broken out. Yeah.
Yum.
So it's about Hound and Wheeljack trying to get all the injured or all the organics off of Cybertron. They go to Darkmount to try and get Straxus to let them use some arcs. Meanwhile, the Insecticons have basically gone to Shockwave to try and get cloning technology done. And it's dealing with, like, Diatlas rises from being fused with the planet to try and help. And yeah, it's a big thing. Bette McGuire-Smith does the art. It's a little bright. So Bette McGuire-Smith doing the art, Priscilla Tramontano did the coloring. It's a little bright for my taste for the story, because the story's quite dark. But the visuals are solid overall. When she's got the right lighting and everything else, Bette does a really good job of portraying like the horror elements of the Insecticons. Because they just have a flat out scene where Bombshell's faceplate opens and then bites the face off of something. Which is effective. Driving home the point, like the Insecticons are characterized like they are in the Galaxies mini, so they are completely in your face, obsessed with food and like never ending hunger kind of thing. We get an introduction to how organics see the Cybertronians, which is interesting. There's a nice little scene where one of them says, don't be scared of us, and just like, we're always scared of you, and it's got nothing to do with your intentions. It's like you live forever, we don't, yet you're so rushed because you don't have any sense of permanency like we do. You have a soul, we wonder about it, that kind of stuff. It was an interesting little exchange. But yeah, like the pacing's very good, the characters are solid, the story's good. The biggest down for me is I hate the language. This is falling into Furman's old trap of, I have a dictionary and I have a thesaurus.
Yeah, I saw you mention that on Twitter as well. You made a comment like, I want to take all the thesauruses away from writers, from Transformer writers. I was like, oh no.
I said this when I was reading Maximum Dinobox back in the day. I should not have to pause and Google a word when I'm reading a comic book. Like, I'm going to read just one page. There's one page here. Highbrow meeting Diatlas. Diatlas was immersed, so he was fused with the planet, and he's the first person they know of ever to unfuse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, who is it? Highbrow shows up and is just like, oh my god, like, never seen before, how are you, blah, blah, blah. Oh my god, what did you learn? Do you know the secrets of the world? Oh my god. And Diatlas, I cannot offer you much. Everyone talks like this. I cannot offer you much, not yet. My own understanding remains inchoate, which I realize is supposed to be inchoate, which
what?
Is incoherent.
Yeah.
Like, he's saying his brain is muddled.
So why not just say incoherent?
Because he wants to say inchoate.
A word that barely anybody uses, especially in comparison to incoherent, which most people know and use.
Yeah.
You made, again, the comment you made, people don't talk like this. I can't remember what word it was that you said specifically for it, but you was like, people don't talk like this.
Oh, no
one talks like this.
Same page. Hound is now telling Highbrow that, like, okay, not a priority, just telling you, we're all going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Highbrow's like, okay, cool. Have you told Orion? Does Diatlas know what we should do? Optimus Prime. Yeah, because somehow he's Optimus Prime now, despite there's no body change at all.
Oh.
He just puts in the Matrix, has a vision quest, and says, like, I'm Optimus Prime now. Just like, okay. It feels like, okay, so the name change isn't like the person's change, it's just a title change?
It's just a mantle, Mikey.
Okay. Also, Sentinel is really weird in this book. But anyway, Diatlas is reluctant to engage in the current tumult.
Tumultual?
Tumultuous. It's supposed to be conflict.
Yeah.
Or current fight. Or current war. Or current disaster.
Yeah, I've never heard tumult. I've heard of tumultuous. Not tumult.
Yeah.
It sounds like someone, like, forgot the rest of the word.
Yep. But no, tumult is a word. It's just not one
like
anyone uses.
Just use the what? Yeah. Just use. If you want to use tumultuous, that's fine. You can use tumultuous. It's a fancier word, but you can use that. Tumult, no.
The thing is, like, everything's structured like this, so the sentences tend to lose urgency or lose speed. So it always sounds like someone's having an academic debate, which is something I just hate. And then you got characters like Rage and Hydra Dread who just talk like normal people and feel really out of place. And the same thing for ones like Flare Up,
right,
or Flame War. Like, they talk like normal comic book characters.
Okay.
So everyone around them talking like they're like appearing before the Roman Senate is very strange.
Is it like, do these characters who speak normally like look left and right while everybody else is talking and just like, what the fuck is going on? Why aren't you talking normally?
I like to think, like, when Shockwave's speaking, little subtitles appear down below him, like Shockwave to English. I also have no idea if Shockwave is supposed to be emotionless or not in this.
Oh, that's not good.
Because everyone talks in the same kind of timbre and tone, so, like, I honestly don't know.
I remember it being quite difficult to get a bead on the actual characters for the Brian Ruckley comic. Is that still fair to say, not just about Shockwave, but about most of them?
Yeah, in the main book, definitely. It works better with Escape because you spend a lot more time with the individuals and it's a lot more focused.
Right, okay.
Like, Hound, I think, is really well developed. Wheeljack is well developed. Even Sound Blaster gets some development. Like, Straxus, most sympathetic version of the character they've ever done. I thought they did a good job with him. Diatlas, not so much, but I was like, when a human, you can't even say it's like the Transformers. They've got an organic here. And can we not fight for ourselves? You want to be threat and protector?
You want to be threat and protector?
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool. I get the I think I get the intention, but
again, the sentence doesn't sound right though. Threat and protector.
You want to protect. You want to be the thing threatening us, and you want to be what's protecting us as well. Like, make it conversational.
Yeah, the way that the way that flowed didn't sound right. It sounded like there was grammatical errors or some weird errors that just didn't sound right.
Very strange thing to come to a book like this with language like this after so many years of Barber and Roberts.
Yeah, he just knew how to write dialogue.
Hey, what do people say? They would say this. Okay.
And if a smarter character is talking, this is how they'd say. And will we use words that people have no idea? No. We'll use bigger words, but people still know what the words are that they're using.
Yeah. Even if the characters seem dumb, you aren't.
Yeah. Weird. What a shame.
It's weird. Tumult. And just like, it's so weird to me because I listen to his podcast, his nature podcast, which he completely scripts.
Right.
And he never speaks like this. The whole thing is scripted 40 minutes every couple of weeks on weird and wonderful animals. And everything is scripted like a human being is saying it.
It's not a tumult script for that show, is it not?
He is not in Kuwait. He's never even been to Kuwait.
Some animals live there, though, to be fair.
I think he actually has been, because he did a master's or something in it.
It's weird.
But it's weird.
Are you going to finish it then? Because it sounds like you haven't finished, but you're kind of plodding on. 3 or 4 issues left. Oh, you may as well then, yeah.
And I am definitely looking forward to Last Bot Standing because it's a Nick story completely independent of basically everything. And it's got Moon in it. Because years ago he said, I really wish I could stick Moon in. And by the cover, it looks like Moon's going to try and eat the protagonist.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? You may as well do something with Moon because no one else has.
What if Moon was a lunatic?
Haha, okay lunatic.
Oh, what if, what's her name, Luna? Who? What if she's in it as well? And she's
the lady. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's like controlling him. Like, what if she's like some like weird 1950s BDSM queen type sci-fi thing? But she's got Moon on a rope, and then she's got Scuba on the other.
You've really thought about this, haven't you?
It's like, I'm just saying, like, it's Nick. You can't fucking trust him.
Right,
but
okay.
like, I'm looking forward to Last Bot Standing, and I hope we've got some other minis. I would love to see Brian do another mini. Honestly, and his annoying habit for language aside, the guy can like on a 5-issue has to be completely self-contained, has to be tight, can't have setup for too much. Man does good. Man genuinely does good in a way you would not think by reading the main book.
It sounds like you think he's a guy that shouldn't have been given an ongoing series and should have just been kept to minis and maybe as at least as a test to see if he could have done Transformers.
Or he's someone who needed good, tight oversight.
Okay, it's interesting.
Basically, he'd have done well if he came in the last era, I think. Where, like, he definitely have had good oversight because John was the main editor. He definitely wouldn't have been put in an ongoing because we had enough ongoings.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway. Yeah, so that was me.
Oh, wow.
Wow. What about you, Andy?
Well, I did also my ranking, and I did Kamen Rider today. I've been watching the 90s Berserk anime, enjoying that, even though it is very, very cheap, and it has pacing issues. It's still, unfortunately, the best adaptation.
I was going to say, can it top the 2000s?
Believe it or not, it was like the 2000s version. There's a better version of it out because they improved, in quotations, they improved the visuals from the TV release, which is the one I saw, to the Blu-ray release.
Oh no, I hate those so much because people get really pissy at you. You say like, "Oh, I saw this; it doesn't look good." Well, you clearly didn't watch the Blu-ray release. No, I didn't.
I mean, you remember the scene where they've got Guts bouncing towards the camera instead of walking?
That scene. So
They actually made it so he is walking. It's like the character models are still fucking garbage, but he isn't bouncing up and down.
Does he go doop dee doop?
He doesn't bounce up and down anymore. He has a normal walk cycle. Well,
my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing he's ever done.
It's so bad. It's so bad. So, but yeah, the 90s anime, like I say, it has pacing issues. It's got more of the Berserk feel, and it is really cheap in terms of like the actual animation. Like they'll use a lot of still cards, of still cards, and they'll try and animate as little as they can. But it's still the best version. And I actually bought 4 volumes of the deluxe editions of Berserk because I was like, well, main guy's gone. Might be an idea to pick these up before like they start getting annoyingly difficult to find, etc., etc. And I like Berserk; it's great. I've been playing Elden Ring, and that's got a lot of influences, unsurprisingly, from that. So I picked up Volume 1, 2, 4, and 5. Why not 3, you ask? Because I made a mistake and picked up 4 and 5, and forgot that I needed 3. So I'll be going and getting 3 at some point. I've decided pretty much, because there's currently 10 volumes out at the moment. I'm going to be doing 2 volumes each week, and I should be caught up pretty quickly, to be honest.
Right.
And Volume 11 is out July-ish, and Volume 12's out in November. So, it's a while off before I have to worry about them. But they're nice because they're bigger than normal manga. They're probably more comic book sized in terms of their height. And, it gathers a lot of issues together. So they're big, chunky books in the hardcovers. They got really nice print on them. It's great. It's really nice to see the blown up artwork. Because the artwork's always fantastic in it. So it's nice to go through and read it again. Be more Elden Ring, because, of course, there's still a lot left to do in Elden Ring. And, I was stupid and got rid of a file for the comic show, because I was stupid.
You fool!
Yeah, I was like, oh, Mikey, I got your audio file. I just didn't have mine. And I didn't have the backup either, because I went and checked, and that wasn't gone either, as well. So it's like, oh. So that was a fun little stressful part of the day. But apart from that, yeah, it's just been another week. It's been another week of work, as you know.
Exciting times.
Yeah. And that's it, I suppose. We could probably end the Poopcast, Mr. Mikey. Where can people... Oh, no, hang on. We got a question. I almost forgot. Got a message from...
I forgot one thing. I watched the trailer for Spy and Family, and I will be checking that out.
Yes, I saw that as well. And I thought it looked good as well. It's with Studio,
it's with.
No real shock.
Yeah. It's like, hey, boy howdy, did we get converted to them fast?
Yeah. Well, I've liked. I mean, I liked Attack on Titan, and I know you obviously didn't, but
I liked the animation for the first couple of seasons.
There you go. That's fair.
Not so much for the recent stuff.
It's not as good. I mean, it's not Wit Studio doing it. It's just like, well, what can you do? Wit Studio's got good stuff, and Spy X Family is meant to be a very good manga as well. So people keep touting. Then people keep saying that My Dress Up Darling or whatever is good, so who knows if they're telling the truth, right?
Maybe you'll try it. Maybe you'll love it. Honestly, maybe I'm the freak here. It is possible.
It happens. Yeah, I'll give it a... Maybe I'll give it a try. I'm not that interested in it. It's like, oh, do you want to see a guy and a girl get together? No, not really. I don't care.
You've seen it before would be my big thing.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, okay. I was more interested in Nagatoro because at least she's kind of a fun bitch, and she makes fun of him. So it's like, oh, that's fun. She embarrasses him massively to try and help him not be such a wuss. So it's like, okay, there's some cute fun thing in there. That's why I won't watch Comey, because I don't really care. It's just like, we'll learn to communicate. It's like, okay.
Ridiculously well. Kiyomi is better because it's very funny.
Oh yeah, I hear good things about it, but Kiyomi's been shelved in terms of waifu bait. Now that this new ladies game from as far as I can tell,
Kiyomi's back in a couple of days.
Is she? Oh wow,
season 2.
Oh,
or part 2. I don't know if it's season 2 or part 2, but
it can't be season 2 because it's like the turnaround would be crazy quick if that's the case. Either way, Tenenbaum 04 finally got around to the latest Files episode, and you'd made it. So I want to pick up Shadowglass if I came across the trade, but since you won't be covering Ultimates 2, I think that is a fair thing to imagine.
If you even suggest I will do such things to you.
All right, no Ultimates 2, Mikey.
No, you know why? Because it was shit.
Because we'll do Ultimatum instead. I might as well share my thoughts here because it's so forgettable. I thought the alien invasion was in the first run. Nope, I guess it's in the second one.
No, it's the second one.
Well, at least they went whole hog on the Thor is crazy stuff, ending with a bunch of Vikings showing up the climax. So that was fun. I don't remember that. I'll take your word for it.
I remember vaguely that happened and that Hulk ate a dude.
Yeah.
But I also remember that eventually they go, he's not crazy, this is all actually true with him.
Oh, with Thor, yeah. I think that sounds familiar, yeah. Even though it clearly wasn't, it didn't feel like it was the case.
No, it felt like he was supposed to be a crazy superpower person, but...
Yeah, they changed it at the end. And as a lover of, in quotations, all in caps, edge, I do enjoy a lot of what the Ultimate Marvel did. Helps when you are the kind of reader who mostly looks at the artwork and just skims the text. That's not a bad way to read the Ultimates, you could argue.
I thought he was about to say, like, I also hate Friends.
Even if it's only good for a time capsule of the 2000s nowadays. There you go.
Oh boy, howdy, is it a time capsule.
It is, yeah. It was a simpler time. It was a simpler time. I don't know. I like those times. There were better Marvel movies back then as well, I'd argue.
No. Like, it was better Marvel movies up to about 2012.
Yeah, around the 2000s.
No. I didn't like... I liked X-Men. I liked the first... I like the second X-Men. I made excuses for the first X-Men.
I'll take the 2000s superhero movies over the superhero movies of today.
I'm going to... I have a counter for you, and it's it also relates to today, because the same thing fucked up today. Phoenix.
Okay. What about Phoenix?
Well, 2000s, they did X-Men 3.
Oh, yeah.
In 2010s, they did the exact same movie with the exact same director, and I believe the exact same writer, and thought it would be better.
And it was less funny, because it was not as funny. It was bad.
It was less funny, yeah. But I would say equally as bad.
Yes, but at least I can laugh at Last Stand of the X-Men.
I'm glad you can.
Do you not think it's funny where the porcupine dude hugs the lady and then porcupines her to death?
I forgot that happened. Like, for me, I'm just like, I really wish I could escape I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. But it still shows up from time to time.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
Please. Stop!
Vinnie Jones's best crowning role.
I'm Juggernaut. It's, to be fair, not an achievement for Vinnie. Like, Vinnie Jones's best role. I'll give you that.
I think he's very funny in that film, but not in the intentional kind of way.
I feel like it really highlighted the fact that Vinnie Jones has never played a character in his life.
Well, I mean, it didn't really matter, because, I mean, that wasn't the Juggernaut, because, let's be fair, he got bitched out very quickly.
Oh, my... Like, you know who did Juggernaut better? Deadpool 2.
Yeah, Deadpool 2 did a really good Juggernaut.
I like that movie.
Yeah.
I think it's a rare case of the sequel improving on the first one.
I'd need to watch them back to back to be able to judge that, but I think both Deadpool films are fun. I think there's a concern of like doing too many Deadpool films, so I'm just like running, the joke dead.
Terrified of the new one.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this will probably go badly because MCU is going to be involved, and that means more oversight. But
is Morpheus meant to be good? Because I think I've heard rumblings.
It's supposed to be terrible.
Yeah, I heard rumblings that it's meant to be pretty caca-poo-poo.
Like, apparently, it's not only terrible. Jared Leto was once again an unbearable asshole on set.
Is that why he's getting replaced by Andy Serkis now?
Yeah, I saw that today. Just like, and I looked it up and just like, no, everyone hated him. Everyone hated him.
Why does Jared Leto have to be an asshole? Because I don't think the character of Michael Morbius, like, you could say...
Apparently Morbius is like the one where he acted the least, which probably just says, so you are just an asshole.
Yeah, because as I was saying, like, if you want to be like let's give him an excuse, like, fair enough. If he's acting like the joke and doing shitty method acting, which is always just sounds like a fucking excuse in a lot of ways to be an asshole to people. Fair enough. That's a role that you can be like, okay, he's an asshole, he's the Joker, fine. I don't think Michael Morbius is an asshole of a person, so you're just a cock then, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Why do you need to be such a cock? I heard he wanted to return as the role as the Joker. As no.
Yeah, no, he liked them both. He liked. Then he started complaining about he got quoted as saying, theaters would die without film, and which was actually him talking about Marvel movies, and that they're basically keeping theater going. But
you know what's sad? In some ways, it's not entirely untrue.
But I agree. But it's he just seemed like such a nightmare to work with. So I love the fact they went we could just replace him with a CGI character played by Andy Serkis. Would we have to get him back to do the voice? No.
Nah. No one gives a fuck.
No. Oh, Jared, no. Oh, the budget. Oh, Jared, we couldn't afford your substantial prices, even though we would really like to have you back. Andy.
Yeah.
Andy, get in the boot. Get in the boot. Just we're going to have to go CG on this. Oh.
So strange. You think you'd learn not to be such a tit, but...
Well, I think if you're someone whose approach to method acting is, hi, I'm going to send you a used condom to my female co-workers on set.
I don't think it matters if they're male or female. You shouldn't be sending
I think
used,
it sends
used
the
condoms.
wrong... I think it sends the wrong signal if you do this in the first fucking place. Yeah. I think it will be the least acceptable to the wider public if you send a used condom to a woman. Yeah. And then say it's because it's for your art.
No, yeah. But I think it's just shit all over. Is it worth being with a woman? Maybe. I don't know. I just think it's terrible. Just don't do it.
Yep.
To be fair, if you send a used condom to somebody, I think that person in question has the right to punch you.
In the dick.
I'm shocked that none of the men did.
I'm surprised there wasn't just this cue to do it, because he just sounds atrocious.
He sounds like a tit.
Yeah, he just sounds like a horrible human being, and he needs to go fuck himself. And clearly does, and then decides, hey, friends, it's part of my method acting, because I'm the Joker.
Don't be mean
No,
to
you're
me.
not.
No, you're not. No.
You're
anyway, where can people find you on the internet, Mr. Mikey?
You can find me on the internet as Irish Paleo, and you can find me on... Oh my god, Jurassic World Dominion trailer would work well with the ending song of Neon Genesis. I don't need to see this. So you can find me on Twitter as Irish Paleo. You can find me on the Moonbase 2 Twitter, and if you want to send us an email or anything else, you can send it on moonbase2@gmail.com, or on Facebook, or on Libsyn, or on Patreon, or on wherever you can contact us. We love having comments, even if it's just to tell us that Ultimates is good if you don't pay attention to what's going on. I'll agree with that statement. If you absolutely are not paying attention, it's fine.
Yeah.
Andy, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter and YouTube and Twitch as Decade Andy. I'm on those places most of the time. You can find the Moonbase 2 podcast on Facebook, Libsyn, iTunes, YouTubers, Moonbase 2 Transformers podcast. We're on patreon.com/Moonbase2. And if you do $2 each month, you get the extended version from the Files of Teletran 2, and you get the Moonbase Woo Woo, where we talk about non-transferable things in more detail and all that jazz. We're also on the ccbunker.weebly.com if you want to come and get us there as well. So, until next week, everybody, thank you for coming on by. Hopefully we'll have some more sensual news for the Transformers world to talk about, but I wouldn't hold my breath. And until next time, everybody, both me and Mikey Stoffeles will see you next time.
Oh, he remembered.
You are now leaving Moonbase 2.